What's going on, everybody? If you're clicking on this video, you've probably heard of Dungeons & Dragons, or maybe you're an experienced player. Dungeons & Dragons is the classic nerd role-playing game that you might have seen in the movies, or even possibly on Stranger Things. During 2020-2021, Dungeons & Dragons made a huge resurgence due to the pandemic. Popular figures such as Barstool even picked it up and tried playing it themselves. Although traditionally played in person, online D&D platforms have started to gain popularity, with Roll20 being the most prominent. Over the past 2 years, I've had the opportunity to play on Roll20, and while fantastic, I found 3 macros that help take my game experience from standard to the next level. In this video, I'm going to take you through those 3 macros and how they work. Let's get to it. A macro is essentially a coded button that performs a specific action that you can pin to the bottom of your toolbar throughout your campaign to perform specific actions. Now, if you played Roll20 in the past, I'm sure you're familiar with the standard roleplay. You type /R, a space, the number of die you want to roll, the letter D, and the number of sides you want on the die, and hit enter. Bam, you then get a number of roll. What a macro does is take all this code and package it all behind a button so you don't need to type it every single time. If you take that exact same snippet of code, throw it in a macro, and then click the button, voila, you get the exact same output. Taking this concept forward, you can build complex code only once, and then simply click on the button without having to type anything further once the macro is made. The first macro that improved my online D&D playing experience was the inclusion of Inline Macros. Inline Macros clean up all of the behind the scenes of the code so you're only getting one output. For example, if you were to make a standard roll, you get 3 lines of output on your console window. Not bad because you get to the end result, but then again it does kind of convolute your entire chat window. If you look at this macro press, you look that you're going to see only 1 line of code in this little yellow box. Once you hover over the little box, it tells you exactly what happened behind it, but you're only getting your output. That's the beauty of an inline macro. Inline macros are created using the double braces. Whatever roll you put in between the braces is what's going to complete your output. What makes these powerful is you can pair them with text. For example, if you pair an attack roll text with this command within the braces, you get this as an output. It makes it very clear for what your intentions are doing throughout the campaign. Now, inline macros are great, but they become even stronger when paired with templates. The second macro that helped improve my online D&D playing experience was the inclusion of templates. Now, templates make it really easy to see what a character does in a clean, intuitive way. Templates can contain multiple rows that each contain variable roles. It's a tongue twister if you think about it. I find templates best for attack/damage combinations, as you can nest both your roles within a single template. It makes it easy and straightforward for all the players to know exactly what you're doing with that standard action. Templates are created using the &, curly braces, template, default command. Now, if you change this default keyword, you can access one of the many templates that Roll20 has pre-installed for you. But I find myself often just reverting back to the default, as it's pretty straightforward for me to use. So after that & template default, there's going to be a few sets of double curly braces immediately following that command. The first set of double curly braces is going to be the name of the template that's going to appear at the very top. Everything after is going to be what you're going to be including in each one of the rows. For example, in this template that I have shown, we have it named attack/damage combination, and then the second set of curly braces is going to be what I perform on the first row. What I'm going to perform on the first row, I'm going to have attack roll equals my inline macro of 1d20. Fantastic. Now I want to create a second row. Second row, I'm going to create a second set of double curly braces, and I'm going to say damage roll equals inline macro 1d6. After pressing on the macro, then you get to see this is what the entire output's going to be. Pretty cool. So now we have well-formatted templates with shortened roles. Awesome. Only one problem. Each one of these macros contains a small square on the bottom of your screen, and you don't want that to be convoluted. I don't want to be looking through 20 buttons at the bottom knowing what to click. This is where the third aspect comes in, drop-down menus. Item usages such as potions tend to be pretty simple and basic, with a small modification on each one of them. You have the potion of moderate healing, or say a potion of lesser healing or greater healing, that all essentially do the same effect. So if you had all 3 of these paired within one macro, it would make sense. Luckily for us, there's a macro that takes care of that. Now, the syntax of these dropdowns are pretty straightforward. You start out with a question mark followed by a set of curly braces. And contained within these curly braces is both the name of the query that you want, followed by all of the options that you want contained within the macro. All of these options are then separated by the pipe character, or that vertical line character on your keyboard that you almost never use. If I were to create this for a healing potion, this is kind of what it would look like. I would first start out my macro with a question mark as shown here, followed by an open curly brace. Then I would put the name of what I wanted the query to be. As you can kind of see, this first parameter is whatever I want shown to be shown in bold at the bottom right here. The next one is then what I want each dropdown to be, separated by a comma. Following the comma, it's going to be whatever you want to appear in the chat window. So for this example right here, I have the dropdown being Potion of Lesser Healing, and when the macro is run, this is the output that comes in the chat window. Then you have that pipe character I then described, followed by every option then following after. The tool is really powerful if you want to nest all of these macros kind of built into one, and like I said before, I find it most effective for using potions or any type of items that only have a simple stack on top of one another. So that'll do it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.